guess we're going to fire it up. We'll wait for Canada Mike. I mean, we won't wait for Canada Mike, but you will wait for me because I'll be there in just 1 second. All right, this is it. We're doing it. Woo-wee. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Cars and Comedy Show here in the Late Night Playset. My name is Jay Ryan. It's always Jay Ryan. That's not new. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. It's a great time to click the like and the bell and the subscribe and do all the things you're supposed to do to help the algorithm. I don't understand it myself, but I know that it's a big deal, and we appreciate your help with it. It's a Wing It show. It's another Wing It show. We had... let me just tell you what's going on here. Let me just get very comfortable here and tell you what's going on here. Okay, we had a guest booked for weeks. Sean Cridlin was going to be here. Sean Cridlin wrote the Hurley book. He wrote the Brumos book. Very, very well-respected author in our little car community, our little global car community. Anyway, he was on his way here for Lit Week to Los Angeles and whatever, had to turn around, had a medical thing. Turns out he's okay. Thank God he's okay. That's the good news. But the bad news is he's not here in town. So, luckily, a lot of people are in town for Lit Week, so we just went down the list and we said, oh, goodness gracious, for the people who have reached out, Carbone reached out. Our good friends at Carbone who did the 111 livery for our car. They're out of Poland. Pavel, he's like, hey, what do you think? We'll be in town for a few days. Can we do the show? And I said, yes, absolutely. So we said, it's perfect. Pavel will be here in place of Sean Cridlin. Everything works out, even Steven, smooth. Well, as you may have heard, it's Blizzard Watch 2023 here in Los Angeles. It's raining everywhere. It's actually sunny and beautiful right now, but it was a mess this morning. It's a mess up on the crest right now. There's probably a foot or so of snow already on the ground, and they're expecting 3 to 5 feet up at Newcomb's, 7 feet further up. Crazy. So with that, the rain and the rest of Southern California has been nuts. Pavel from Carbone got stuck down south in Corona. He's not going to make it to the show. So here we are. It's us and you. I want to know what you're doing for Lit Week. More importantly, Nicole wants to know what you're doing for Lit Weekend. It's going to be us. It's going to be us and you. And if we have any luck, producer Mike from Canada will join us as well. And that's what we're doing. So we're winging it. We're winging it. I couldn't be happier because I have had a hell of a week, hell of a day. I'm very happy to be spending the next hour or so with you. So with that, let's start the show. I'm going to tell you once again that this pretty lady is here and you guys on Instagram. And hopefully in a few minutes, Mike from Canada will join us. But in the meantime, Will... Can you hear me now? Man, that looked rehearsed, didn't it? Totally looked rehearsed. Yes, Canada Mike, we can hear you now. It was our fault here in the studio. We didn't have the virtual room open, so it's our fault. We blame ourselves. But hello to you. Welcome.
I thought maybe it was a bit.
We don't do bits on this show. Let's see.
Well,
when are you upgrading to Dolby Surround, and how do we get the glasses for the 3D episode? What a great idea, Bark Baby. Let's do that shirt. Let's play with some cameras here. Let's do that. And we'll go down the list here. There we go. I'm here. Yep, waiting room. Sorry about that, buddy. Yeah. Okie doke. He knew once I got to the desk, I'd have all these lined up for me. All right. Perhaps this is a bit. All right. Now, back to the actual viewers. Jay Franz says, evening all. That's you again. No, it wasn't your fault. Wasn't your fault. I'm going to say again, wasn't your fault. And Ryan S. says, hi. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're winging it. We've done everything we could to try to give you a guest this evening, and we have failed. The universe and the weather, and maybe that's all the same thing. God didn't want it to happen. Wanted us all to hang out tonight. Hi. Hi, everybody. Jay here. Thursday, February 23rd. Nicole, Ryan, Jay, Ryan. Blizzard Watch 2023 and LA Lit Week. Don't worry, there's plenty of stuff on the blue card. We've got we've got a couple East Coast feeds. We've got a TBT that's long and eventful. It's one of my favorites. We play it every once in a while, but it's Lit Week from 2022. It was the last one before we shut down. And I like it so much, not because the video is so good. No, I love my work on this one. No, I love how much stuff we did in one weekend, because in 5 minutes you get to see what, I don't know, Thursday or Friday through whatever was. But you were, you had a cane and it wasn't easy, and you can see you're getting tired, but like you were up and doing it. And to me, I want to watch as much of that shit as possible, because I know what you're going through on a daily basis nowadays around here. We agreed to start letting people in a little bit more than we had previously, and perhaps, once again, God and the universe gave us the opportunity to do that tonight. But, you get to see Nicole a couple hours at Breakfast Club and an hour or so here once or twice a week. And it's very easy to think, oh, that's just what she's like. She's like that. That's how she is now. And the truth is, this is 100% the best version of you that you're able to put on for everybody. You get your mouth working for it. You get dressed and prepared and the whole thing. I don't think people know really what it's like on a daily basis.
I don't think so either. It's hard to understand unless you know it. I know it now.
Yeah. Without getting crazy graphic, she can't walk. And that's not like you just can't walk. You can't stand. Your legs won't support you. And with that, it's like, well, how do you get around the house? Well, she doesn't want to live in a wheelchair. And by the way, the wheelchair isn't easy either, because if you're that incapacitated and then you're in the wheelchair, you can't get out of the wheelchair. So that means you're just in it for all everything you have to do. Maybe TMI, but like I pull you around on a towel sometimes to go to the bathroom or whatever, just to get you there, because it's easiest.
It is, and it saves so much energy. It sounds so silly, but I'm very appreciative. It's one of those things you don't think about until you have to allocate your time and energy the way I do.
Yeah.
Changes up.
The amount of time it would take for you to go to the bathroom if you were just left to your own devices. Could you, when you're fatigued like that, can you even get there?
Really slowly. But yeah.
Yeah. It's not fun. MS, don't get it. Do not recommend. Highly do not recommend. Teresa Porto says, hi, Jay and Nicole.
Hi.
Hello to you. Auto Kennel says, just getting ready for mañana. Hi, family. Yeah, so we'll be talking about that, too. Holy crap. GVBC will be occurring at Breakfast Club. No, that's right. As usual. At Auto Kennel tomorrow, because of this crazy blizzard watch, this crazy snowstorm that's happening here in Los Angeles. Let's see what's going on currently up on the crest. See if we can figure it out. I mean, it's warmed up to 47 here. It was in the 30s for the majority of the day and like just breached 40. So I feel like this is because the sun has been out for a couple hours, and once it goes away, it's going to get cold. Locking you out of Framebridge, 35. And then the further up you go, obviously, like up where Newcomb's, it's just frozen.
I've heard the rain on the skylights all day.
On the skylights, yeah.
Yeah. And that's daunting enough when you can't see it. I can't imagine.
Well, Caltrans, well, whatever. They have asked people to stay away, let them have their space to do the work. 3 to 5 feet is what they're predicting up in and around Newcomb's, and that's at 5,400 feet around there. A little further up, keep in mind, it gets up to like almost 8,000 feet on the crest, and they're predicting 7+ feet further up.
So much.
And in other mountains as well. It's crazy. It's crazy. Everybody from Pasadena or Altadena is sending pictures or sending messages from, I'm looking out my back window and the snow line's down to 1,500 or 1,200 or whatever. The Hollywood sign. It was snowing at the Hollywood sign this morning, folks. I was watching it live on the news with the rest of Los Angeles. It looked like one of those end of the world movies. And there were twisters and and a tidal wave the size of...
I remember watching that Father of the Bride Steve Martin movie when it snowed in LA and it was a big deal, and thinking, how can that be a big deal?
Does it snow during the wedding? Is that why?
Right before.
Right, and they're all scrambling right before the...
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious, because that's what's happening. Everyone has all these beautiful events planned and open houses, and people spent money, and they've invited people and organized shit for months, and it's all kind of getting thrown up in the mix.
Yeah.
Some people have been lucky that their things are either at the right time or they're geographically not too badly affected. A little rain's no big deal. I think it's more the sleet and frozen roads and stuff like that.
It seems like anything unexpected throws people. And that's what I'm getting with this weather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus the news loves to make a big deal about it, Oh, my God. Always so much to do. There's a lot to talk about because it's going to snow. Teresa Porto, fuck MS. I'm with you. Let's see. What time are we headed to Auto Kennel? I believe the festivities start at 10. Auto Kennel is here. He can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe officially the festivities start at 10. It's an all-day event over at Auto Kennel. Obviously, Breakfast Club will be in the morning portion. It'll be basically the real hours, I think, of Breakfast Club because we kind of are 9 to noon-ish plus. We stay till at least noon every time. We've never left before noon, I don't think.
It's pretty rad. Thanks for hosting us, Paul.
Teresa, it's snowing, Jay. Yes, it is. It is snowing. Hilarious. Thank you. That's not snow. CK Hollywood sign. Oh, are you? Is that a Hollywood 80s reference? Is that a cocaine joke? I don't know what it is. I'm so used to it being a cocaine joke from all those years of DeLorean ownership. Everybody thought they were so funny and clever making cocaine jokes. Oh, you checked the back seat yet? Look for cocaine? I'm like, first of all, you're an idiot. There is no back seat, no cocaine. I mean, for God's sake. But everybody thinks they're so clever on the fly when you're at the gas station buying a Red Bull.
All the time.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Oh, man. I talked to so many people on the phone today. Today was a blur, but I know I talked to Tori for a good 15 minutes there. And it was great to catch up with you, buddy. It had been a long-ass time. And I look forward to more of it. But things are going really well with him, too. And he just bought another Porsche. Remember way back in the day when he was on this show, he had a 356 he was restoring. And then we all know what happened with that. It imploded itself, and he ended up moving it on, and they end up restoring it. Now that car is going to be released in its redone form down at Amelia Island, which is very, very cool. But beyond that, Tori has a lot of cool things going on. I won't talk about him here, but he's got a lot of cool things going on. And what I was going to say was he bought another Porsche, this time a 997 like ours. Ooh. I think even the same year. Really? It's definitely a Gen 1 like ours, yeah, with the lobster wheels just like ours. And he got like a silver gray, seal gray.
I'm going to ask you the color.
I think it's called seal gray. Seal gray metallic, something like that. But it's beautiful, and congrats to him.
It's a game changer.
All right. Tons and tons of emails, sorry. And David Heenan was like, he was about to tell us that he won't be up there tomorrow, but he just saw the post. Good stuff. David Heenan is he's a good friend of ours and a Porsche guy, but he is the table man up at GBBC. He's the guy who brings the camping table for the donuts and stuff. And he's the one who puts the tip jar out to try to help fill up the kitty for the donuts that we bring.
I love that
for
guy.
Autoimmunity Foundation. Yeah,
And his wife.
Me
Betty.
too, Betty. Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Haven't seen Betty in a while, but I hope it's snow at first tunnel on Canaan, 1,000 feet. It probably is, Teresa, because it's everywhere else. Free pizza, no donuts. Hilarious. Yeah, I think Auto Kennel will have pizza. And by the way, they sometimes have donuts, so I wouldn't even discount that, especially if we're doing Breakfast Club. Otherwise, we could always pick some up on the way. But I'm not getting Dunkin' in Atwater and then this will be our easy day where we can just shoot down to Breakfast Club at Auto Kennel. 90 minutes away. We did that. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, good. We're caught up here. Right. I'll stop pushing buttons. All right. Woo-wee. I think I told you Sean Cridlin is not here. Couldn't tell. And he's doing okay, though. It turned out to be a scare. He had a knee surgery recently, and it turned out to just be some side effect things from that.
So
he had
glad
some crazy.
he's okay.
Me too. He had
Holy
some crazy
cow.
swelling, so it was just he wasn't sure, so he wanted to go.
Smart.
Very smart. I'm very happy that he's at an age where he knows to take care of himself. For years and
Agreed.
years and years, you would have pushed right through that shit.
Right through it.
You would have gone on the press tour. You would have flown on the plane. You would have done all the stuff with the giant.
Yeah.
I watched you do that with other ailments, and you just kept on going. You had MS and worked for like 5 years.
Yes, and I had to tell someone the other day that I took a flight after I got a spinal tap. You're not supposed to do that. And that was bad.
So many things. You were supposed to go home and go to bed. Not only did you take a flight, you took a all the way across the country flight to Miami, and then you were working your ass off in that Miami climate as well. And there was no food in your spine. I mean, that was the closest to death I'd ever seen. Other than that time I watched you die. that time I watched you code. Other than that was crazy.
Really?
You came back just depleted.
That was a Vanity Fair cover shoot.
For Serena Williams, wasn't it?
Yes, but I didn't realize I was that bad.
Depleted. And you were just in so much pain. And like you had such a high tolerance for all of the stuff. You didn't used to complain about things. That one, it was so, we knew it was, anybody who was around you knew it was bad because you weren't big and complainy about it. It was the first time we'd ever seen you like, you couldn't do it. Like you couldn't do it. Normally you push through. I'm sure you did down there, but like when you got home, it was just, ooh.
I did power through it, but I don't remember that part.
Do you remember being there in Miami and all that? Do you remember calling and texting and like you were talking to the doctors even then? You're like, there's something wrong.
I remember running around like crazy to keep that shoe going. It was in Leibovitz, I think.
The
it was
biggest photographer in the world.
Intense. But again, like I had a job to do. So I did it.
Uh-oh. In addition to that, yes, 10 a.m. We will try and open a bit earlier for a DBC at 9 a.m. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, that would be something. Thanks, Auto Kennel. The nice thing about Auto Kennel is they always have a nice place set up for you to, I know it sounds weird to sit, but to sit.
They're good people.
Put together a lot of effort for your little area.
Thanks, you guys. I'm not used to being attended to. I'm used to attending to other people. Mm-hmm. So this is a new position for me.
Are you able to, like, how are you adjusting? How are you adjusting to that switch? It's literally a 180 for you.
Not well. I have a really chatty inner dialogue. So, and I have a horrible memory pot notwithstanding, but MS has eaten my memory. So I know from college psychology training, like, keep on the path. Don't try to tell my brain something else. So I have to repeat all the time that I'm not a horrible person and to remain positive. It sounds so trite, but I have to do it all the time, literally.
Is that because your programming is that you're an awful person and that's what you're trying to overcome all the time? Because I think most people would agree that you're not an awful person.
That is
How we see each other is, how we see ourselves is different, but
it's my default setting. I didn't have an external positive force around me all the time, like a church or whatever. And so
positive influence.
yes, and I got into business of people out for themselves, which isn't inherently bad.
You got in a business where people are out for themselves. Yeah, I mean, most business people are out for themselves. But I see your point.
We're just public about it.
Cutthroat, yeah.
So it's really cutthroat. And in this business, it's very obvious what people's intentions are. And I learned how to navigate that and put in my head, follow the wrong stuff all the time by accident.
Goes back to we don't know what we don't know, right? What you say all the time.
Yes, yes.
When you look back, it's very easy to beat yourself up when you look back at anything that you aren't happy with how you handled or how you did or how what you said. Anyone. The hindsight is 20/20 thing, right? So it's easy to beat yourself. I think the whole point is to not. And is that what you're trying to overwrite with this? I'm not a bad person. You're kind of trying to reprogram.
I have to, or else I'll get in that rabbit hole all the time of just beating myself up. And yes, hindsight's great. 2020, I wasn't awful. I know that my intentions were good. Either way, it's my duty. It's anyone's duty to amend behavior all the time to do what you want to do. So if it doesn't align with what you were taught or know intrinsically, it's still anyone's job to change it.
So insanely agree with you. I want to applaud that. I so agree with you. But I don't think most people realize that that's true or that it's even possible. I think there's certain people I know in my life from my past and upbringing, my mom, whatever. My mother is the type of person who will always compare herself to the Joneses, to the normal, to the whatever. Oh, don't you think everybody does that? If I call her on something, a behavioral thing or a pattern or something that I've seen my entire life and I'm sick of witnessing, if you want me in your life, can you work on this? That kind of thing. Her general go-to is, but that's just how I am. Or, I don't know, I'm not made that way. There's always seems to be some sort of an excuse that says she doesn't believe in neuroplasty and retraining herself and changing who she is. And I'm using my mother as an example here. This is a bajillion people just like her. You seem to be taking the power back and saying, I do have the power to change, at the very least, my thoughts, which affect my feelings and my life. And you're making a conscious effort to do that. I think that should be applauded and more people should look at that. I don't think nailing it is the goal. I think trying really hard is the fucking goal.
I try really hard. It's a constant trial and error of what's going on that I face. And I think anyone that wants to modify who they are can do it. It's hard and impossible, but if it was easy, anyone would do it. So it's not fun or easy, but it doesn't matter. This is all I have. There's a lot I can do, but this is the most important, time sensitive to do all the other stuff. I have to get this under control.
Amen. I think you're doing a great job, especially now that you're aware of it and trying real hard.
Thanks. I reminded myself of that today.
Good. Keep doing that. Keep celebrating your little wins, no matter what they are.
I will. It's just, it sounds so silly to say the same thing over and over. And I know you joke with me about hi, I'm Tom. It's like I get
It's
it.
not a joke, but yeah.
I realize it's not, but like I don't have a choice, and part of the task at hand for everyone is: do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And eventually, you have to be happy before you can do anything for anyone else. It's like that face mask analogy. It's like take care of yourself.
When we were young, we all want to be right, right? Like we all want to be right. But as I'm older, when I see somebody who wants to be right, all I see is somebody who wants to fight. If they have the energy to fucking no, not you, my thing, I don't have the energy to fight anymore at this point in my life. We're like surviving every day over here, and I'm not trying to like, don't feel bad for us. We're getting through it, but it's a different fundamental place. I don't have the energy to burn on any kind of this versus that argument. It's kind of like, well, let's take it all in. And if you want to have a conversation about it, I am so down with it. You want to get deep on some shit and have a conversation? Oh my God, am I your guy? If you want to spout a bunch of facts and tell me why, and this goes for anything, whether your car is faster or how much money you have, it could be anything. Holy crap, sports. People are so sports. Oh, but this guy does this and that does that. I'm like, holy shit. You're literally just regurgitating stats. Nothing means anything.
I
Don't get me started.
Talked to my therapist about this a lot. It's like, I get it. I get where people are coming from, but that's all well and good. But no, my side of like, I used to create the news.
Yeah.
And tell people what to write and talk about. So I know it too well.
It's weird how people from your new life don't know you from your old life, and what people think, they just don't know. And it's like people never understood what we were going for with this. They get it now, and they definitely will in the future. But like they didn't get it for a long time, and they were like, "Why aren't you like now? You've done it. You're there." And we're like, "We're there? Are you crazy? Do you know how much more work and how many more people we have? Like we've actually been there. We know what there is. We're not there.
We're nowhere near.
We're nowhere near there. We're here. Thanks for being here with us." Oh my God. And it's not like we're so smart. It's just the experience of having been there before. Like we know what it looks like. We know what it feels like when most people are about to be like, "Oh, look at that overnight success. Oh, look at that. They came out of nowhere." We know what it likes to get to that place.
That's when I used to get hired.
Right. When they'd done all that 5 years worth of work.
Maybe.
Yeah, if they were good enough.
If they needed any help to be more famous.
Teresa Porto says, you get VIP seating. Yes, you do. Living in the moment and putting one foot in front of the other. Nicole, you're a pro at badassery. We're at badassery. Nicole, you adapt and keep plugging away at living life on your own terms. You're incredible. Good comments today.
Love that lady.
I brought Canada Mike in here just because, he loves you too, and he is very supportive in general. But he also has that men's health wellness podcast, and his wife is building the men's health wellness app. So I just figured I'd bring you in the conversation too. If you had any questions, sometimes I forget what people know and what they don't, so an outside perspective might be helpful.
No, I appreciate that too. Yeah, absolutely, Nicole. Talking about the sometimes it's awareness. Like Jay, you were talking about. You brought up the example of where people are. Deny the fact that neuroplasticity exists and things like that. I couldn't agree more with where you're coming from. I think there's a lot of the time people, they get into it's like they're a racehorse. They've got the blinders on and they're just so focused on where they're going and they're not even aware of what's around them. And it takes moments sometimes, unfortunately, of staggering heartbreak, like, or 5 steps back
Check
before you're even willing to, Yeah. And it's just an awareness thing. By the way, I just want to throw something out there because we've talked so much about Auto Kennel. He actually said on Instagram, he's at the shop right now saying he can come on Instagram Live if you guys want that. He's just setting up for tomorrow. He said he's got some big-ish news. So I don't know if we want to explore that or not. But,
sure, absolutely. Hang on. Let me plug in this thing over here and we'll do all of that. Let's keep you here too,
Sure.
so we can do it all. There we
But
go.
Nicole, the awareness that you have and how present you are, even in the hard moments, how you're just sitting in there. You're not afraid to sit in it, even when it's awful. And you've learned that, okay, you know what? That might be your version of putting the face mask on, but that is so commendable. And I mean, I'm a broken record when, Jay asks me or I have the opportunity to talk about this. You're so fucking inspirational. And I just love how people are rallying around that and understanding that when life changes, it doesn't have to end, and the introspection that we get is a gift in itself. And you are a shining example of that. And I just appreciate that so much about you.
Thanks, Mike.
I agree. Do you have any questions that you personally? I mean, you and I have talked about a lot of this stuff off the air. So I mean, we've shared the overshares and stuff like that. But do you have any questions, or is there anything that like maybe you think people should know that I skip over or she does?
Well, I hear where
on
you're
this
coming
episode
from,
of
Jay,
Getting
'cause
to Know the Ryans.
See, but again, vulnerability to me, like the question is why be vulnerable? It's so you can get through this kind of stuff the way that
The
you guys
answer,
are. And you're a
honestly,
shining.
is what other option do I have? That's the answer. It's like, what do people? I don't know what people expect. I get a lot of surprise about my handling of this situation. Like, I appreciate the accolades, but like, what else would I do?
I had that
Nicole?
conversation with Adam Ferrara today, and he was like, you guys, you have no idea what I'm. We're like, what? I had literally what you just said. It was like, what's the alternate? Every day we wake
oh my
up.
God. There are
Well,
so
yeah,
many
but what do you bag it in?
alternates.
Then we just get in the car and go drive up the mountain in the snow and then go
Sometimes.
flying off the
Sure.
cliff?
Yep. Sometimes that's what people do. Sometimes they get angry and they lash out and they get bitter and
We
they
do that.
They
We
blame
do all
the
of
world
that.
and
It's just among each other. It's just we try not to do it in front of other people. We don't like that we both do that, but we both lose it every day because this thing is impossible. And there's no it doesn't get better. It sucks. I want to cry just talking about it. I told Adam Ferrara today, it's the weirdest thing because I've never been more spiritual in my life, but I've never been more mad at God. I don't even know what God is. I'm not a religious person. Maybe that's my problem. But it no longer makes sense to me. When she was kind of a Hollywood badass with an attitude, and then she got taken down a few notches by this disease, it sort of karmically made sense to me. No offense. It sort of karmically made sense to me. It's super bad. No offense. But it sort of made sense to me. But as this thing has gotten worse, because I thought it would get better. I thought, she'll learn the lesson and whatever, and then we go on. It's just getting worse and worse, and she's getting better and more open to improve. It no longer makes sense to me. I can't figure it out. That's why the Autoimmunity Foundation exists, quite frankly.
Well, and I mean, right there, there are people who are in all sorts of different parts of a similar journey to where you're at right now. You choosing to say the words that you just said, admitting, yes, the emotions are all over the place. Yes, the temptations to act in certain ways are all over the place. But then you come back to your home base of what you just said. And at the end of the day, to me, that's a shining light of an example for people who are at different parts of their journey. Candy and I, 2015, 2016, 2017, that's when we thought she had MS and she was walking with the cane. She wasn't driving anymore. Half her body was paralyzed for, well over 6 months. We were in this place and going down this path. And we looked to people who had gone further down the path for not just what to expect, but how we could act. And I've seen a lot of people in situations similar to where you two are at that don't, even in their best moments, get to the vulnerable state of talking about where you two get to. And you two are shining examples. And I appreciate the fact that you're saying, well, what else would we be? Well, you could be a lot of other things. And this
Not
foundation,
from my perspective, it's so weird. Even though I hear your words, I feel like if someone is actually even you saying those words, you could do all these different things. If you have been in this situation, but put some shithead, right? Put some schmuck who isn't really cut out to handle this sort of situation in that situation. I guarantee that shithead levels up. I was that shithead.
Nope.
I was that shithead.
Sorry, buddy.
I mean, but it's perspective. It's opinion here. It's opinion. You don't know
I've
who
got
I
a
was
client
before.
who just left his sick wife. He tapped out and he said, "No, can't handle it," and he left her.
She gave me that opportunity when she was diagnosed. She came home. You remember that night? Crying your eyes out, and you're like, "You didn't sign up for this. Here's your out. Yep. You can leave. But bye-bye." She was like almost kicking me out. I was like, "What are you, fucking crazy?"
I think about that all the time because it remains steadfast. Like,
it was the first year we were together. People don't realize that you had MS since I've known you almost.
Yeah, almost instantly. So
I gave it to you. Ta-da.
I know, but like,
I think you had it before me. But I don't want to get into that.
there's a lot to it that no one knows. Even the medical people that I talk to don't seem to know as much as they claim to, which is frustrating.
I would like to read something very quickly. It's a super quick little meme quote, but it's by Michael J. Fox, and I posted it on the autoimmunity site today because it couldn't be more appropriate. This message, except I can't say it, unfortunately. This message is so simple, yet it gets forgotten. The people living with the condition are the experts. Michael J. Fox. Oh. Not the doctors, not the friends who read the article, not the fucking... The people living with the condition are the experts. No one else knows what this is, so only someone who has it can tell you anything. The rest of us are just looking at it wrong.
Yeah, that's why it's one of the reasons I get so frustrated with people that want to talk about articles they read.
Have you eaten more nuts? I think if you eat nuts, you don't have MS anymore. Like, or whatever.
Peace out.
You know, if you just get a bicycle, like there's everybody says.
My PT was like, yeah, just get a bike. I'm like, I can't move my legs. And you get tired moving my legs. I can't do it.
Yes, thank you, Nicole, for sharing your story. Vulnerability is a superpower. Some people toss in the towel. You just keep doing it. That takes balls of steel. I've also seen someone leave their partner with MS. God. Hi, Auto Journey. I know I got to get back to you, man. I'm sorry. And Carmelite, isn't that somebody from your old life? Carmelite Lucart?
Kate's aunt.
Oh, no kidding. Kate Bose. Oh, that's a producer Kate over there on the wall. Wow. Geez, I didn't mean for this to turn into this, but I'm kind of glad it did. I hope you're okay with it.
I'm fine. No vanity left. Like, ask away because no one understands this like they think they do. So I'm happy to talk about it. I have no boundaries about anything. So I appreciate questions.
What's the most difficult thing that you have to deal with on a daily basis? It can be physically, mentally, whatever.
Reminding myself to mentally tell my body to move physically.
Give that one to us. Explain that one a little more deep.
When on the simplest level, if I want to roll over, I have to tell my legs to roll over.
One at a time. You have to tell each butt like one at a time.
Yes, and my left side's getting worse. It's mimicking behind, but my right side. So in my
your left side was the good side.
Yes, it was, and it's no longer nearly as functional. But my joints are stuck opposite how they should. Like my knees tend to bend the opposite way. I know. So I have to literally tell myself what to do all the time.
What's very strange about that is witnessing it. It's very bizarre because sometimes we'll have a thing and, Nicole will say no when she means yes or whatever. Same thing happens with the physical. She'll go to move the right leg and the left one moves, or she'll, it's all that same thing. If she wants to move something that direction, it'll go the other direction. It's very, very bizarre. Even if you can fire signals to the thing, they're sometimes literally the opposite signal that you're trying to send. Like the polarity's reversed.
It's transposed. It's odd.
Good luck with that, everybody.
I have my opinions about why that is and how that my opinion is it was stored incorrectly originally. There's a lot of emotional input that went into my intellectual informational education. So
You mean at a developmental level, like when you're a kid?
oh yeah. So I have to unwind all that, which is I think why people are said to act younger. You have to really modulate what you are willing to do. So
At a faculty's level, right? Like
yeah.
at what you're willing to fire off.
I can explore everything and I want to, but I don't want to talk like an infant. So sometimes that's something I have to pick between. Like, how do you want to talk in your head to understand what you're seeing?
How do you want to talk?
In your head to understand what you're saying to yourself.
So much. Constantly translating and transposing and untranslating. And you're zipping and unzipping files like crazy.
So when I sound crazy, I'm just a little mixed up sometimes.
Too much going on up there. I thought the signal thing was the demyelination. The fact that, you got miles and miles of cable in you, all these sensors and nerves and all those different things. But because of the demyelination, which is the sort of like the main symptom thing from MS, all of those wires are now touching each other. So like it's a bunch of wires that all do different things to different places, but they're all just sort of fusing together in this one big mess because they're not all shielded like they used to be.
Correct.
Is that also part of it, beyond the fact that they're in the wrong storage facility from when you were a baby?
They're part of all that's for me to figure out and deal with constantly. So I am.
I'm just thinking like the amount of shit you're trying to send through those wires to try to figure it out must be.
When I do it right and it sticks, that's a win. So the goal is to get to a place where it sticks more often. And I don't have to remind myself all the time.
Okay. Okay.
It might take a minute, but it's worth it.
You take all the time you need. I think that's the one thing we seem to have is time. Let's break it up just a little bit and do some East Coast feeds because I want to check in with our good buddy Danbury Chive. And more importantly, his adorable little Coraline on the East Coast feed. Roll it out.
I'm Jane Nicole, and East Coast feed we were talking about in the car, me and Dad were talking about giving Grandma a day off.
Why are we talking about giving Grandma a day off?
Because she's doing a lot of work doing the house and getting like nest bag and the nurse for her and it's really hard for her and we all know that and she's been working so hard that I really want her to just have a day off. And it's like if I were her I would be pretty tired and stuff, so and I would need that day, so and she needs that day, so
That's right, because Grandma's been helping with Nana, Grandma, was sick lately, so she had to go into a rehab center, and Grandma, my mom, has been doing lots and lots of work, so Coraline realized that she was, would you relax? You're all over the place. So Grandma was a little upset today, so she called Coraline, and Coraline realized that she needed some love, and she thought we would give her a nice day of relaxation. So we're going to take her for a massage and get her nails done and give her a nice day off, right?
yeah. Cause she's really just working hard so much. It's just too much. It's too much.
She's very thoughtful. That was her idea. And she wanted to do East Coast Feed to let you guys know. And we love you, and you have a great day.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Oh, man.
I love that
Oh,
girl.
man. Oh. I mean, is that little kid cute or what?
She's pretty spectacular.
He sent me the thing. He goes, Coraline wanted to do a feed for you. It's uploaded. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, she wanted to do it. I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, that girl.
She's following after him with a heart of gold. I'm really happy about that. Little person, though. Holy moly. Little him.
I love her. I can't wait to meet her.
It's hilarious to me. All right, one more. Following up with those guys. It's after Great Adventure or something like that. We're in the car. Roll it, Hal.
for cleaning made easy.
Mr. Ryan, just wanted to let you know, East Coast Feed coming to you live in the car. Look at every sleeping. And I was just listening to an old school hip hop, and they had on the Humpty Dance. And I know that you love that song just as much as Ed Wilczynski loved that song back in the day. And it made me think of you, so I want to shoot you a quick East Coast Feed. Look, Brooke's awake. Hey! Love guys.
Oh, right on. That was good stuff. Oh,
Jay, you love the Humpty Dance?
Say it again.
You love the Humpty Dance?
I mean, I like it. I mean, in the drinking days when we were kids, we had a friend who was able to. Ed Wilczynski was the guy he just mentioned when we worked at Saturn. These are the Saturn days. Saturn, the car company, different kind of car company, different kind of car. And he would do
Different kind of seatbelts.
He would get. Say it again.
Different kind of seatbelts.
I don't get that one. But
Were they all
Saturn had
electric?
the seatbelts that did the. And they came over you, and they.
That wasn't a Saturn thing. That was an American thing. That was a thing that was. Do you want to know what that's all about? If you want to know really what that was all about, it's really about the airbag. It's about the airbag, and the airbag had come out, and it was government mandated that you have to have airbags in your car by a certain date, and or some sort of other active restraint system, not passive, active. And if they couldn't get the airbag setup, designs, whatever, into their cars in time, they had to then retrofit that seatbelt thing into their cars in time. So that was like Honda, Acura, Integras, Hondas had it, Saturns had it, like all the little GM shit boxes had it. But they only had it for a couple of years because Saturns then had airbags, and then it was not a thing.
I didn't know that was why.
Yeah, most people don't. But that's the true inside scoop on the automotive industry for that stupid. I mean, that was a terrible idea.
It was horrible.
You get out of the car, it chokes you. You get in the car, it chokes you. Like, fucking, it's so stupid. And then people were like, look, you don't need to connect the thing. It's like, you have to connect it twice, you idiot.
Twice. It was horrible.
But you're right. That seatbelt thing was crap on the first couple years. I think it was if it only had a driver's side airbag, you had to have those things. If it had both sides, I think you didn't have to have it. Something like that.
Apparently, I had one.
You did. You had the first generation, yeah.
No idea.
I have footage of me slaying the Humpty Dance at a karaoke bar, wearing a big long coat and holding a cane. That's my go-to.
Putting on the rings.
A peacock. Yeah.
Dun, 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 when I hear a big cane. But what you're talking about is what this guy Ed Wilczynski would do. He would just stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin. You know, he would just do the whole thing, but in the voice, and he had every word down. And he wasn't like this in real life. He was like a finance guy or something, where he was in the car business. But the moment the drinks at Kaz's parties were flowing and that song came on, and we made sure to put it on every fucking time, it was just like a scene from a teen movie where, like, oh, the band's over there in the spotlights, and now, everyone's watching. The nerds, it's the nerds' time to shine.
It's like CJ Craig doing the Jackal.
Yeah, I don't get that reference, but totally, probably.
Okay, it's a West Wing reference.
Do it again. DJ who?
It's like CJ Craig doing the Jackal.
That's funny because CJ Craig is that's a good one. I'm sorry, I must have not heard it right. It's we like her, the actress.
I don't know.
I know, good point, right? The tall one.
Allison Janney.
Allison Janney.
Oh, I do like.
I have a prediction that our friend who's not really a friend, the person we know and like, Aubrey Plaza is the next Allison Janney. She's the next generation's Allison Janney.
Good pick.
She does that same kind of role, that same kind of deadpan. I think she's very beautiful in a very like striking, unusual way, just like Allison Janney. And they both seem to have the chops. Allison Janney to me is a fucking fantastic actress.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not the only one who feels that way, probably.
She's great, but it's a good parallel you made with.
We were watching that movie where she's Emily the Criminal. Have you seen that yet, Emily the Criminal?
I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's very good.
It's good. She's great in it. The movie's hard to watch. It's very stressful, intense. But yeah, it's worth watching. Now that I think it's on Netflix, so you can watch it for free if you have Netflix now. Should we do some what you're watching? It's been a long time. And we've been watching a lot of shit.
We could.
I say yes.
All right. Well, let's see. We'll do some what you're watching. for a few minutes. Then we'll do a TBT video, which is the Porsche video from Lit Week a couple years ago, and we'll see how we do. Show and tell. I don't think I have much to do. Did we do this on the show yet? Did I bring this out yet?
No,
Does anyone know what this is? Mike, you don't know?
I do.
Nope.
All right. Let's see. This was hanging on the wall of Newcomb's for years and years, since we, been going up there for Breakfast Club, since we took this picture, which I'm guessing based on the cane would be about 19. It was like a year before COVID, don't you think?
I believe so.
So what this is when Nicole first needed a cane, she was very, very self-conscious about it. So we had a bunch of canes here from the TV show House, literally collector's items. But I bought a bunch of those, funny, we would talk about the Humpty Dance. Look at the glasses. I bought a bunch of those glasses, and we all took the canes and the glasses, and we all went up to Newcomb's, and everybody had a cane or some sort of goofy outfit. And this was the first day Nicole ever used a cane. And all of these people will always be our family because they loved you so much that they were like, fuck yeah, let's go along with that. Let's make this fun. Let's make this a thing so that it's not just you. And it doesn't sound like much, but it was a very special day in my memory, and this is very important to me because of that.
Same.
As you know, Newcomb's is for sale, but Freddie from Newcomb's made sure that we got this back. So super
It's so nice.
Super cool. Put it over there for tonight. All right. Well, how about you, producer Mike? What have you been watching? Oh, well, if you don't have anything, we've got tons.
What have I been watching? Oh, you know what I've been watching? Comfort food. I have been going through Cheers, and I haven't done that in a long time.
How far are you? Because my buddy Sean and I are not, crazy experts, and I go deep on this. We've got pictures of us at the bar.
That's amazing.
Actually, we've had pictures of us at the bar in Boston and on the movie set, the TV set.
Oh, that's cool. Rebecca Howe is
season 6 already.
the little the little guy has shown up. So Evan Drake is gone, and the little guy, I forget his name at this
Robin
point,
Colcord?
is just showing up right now.
Robin Colcord?
No, Robin Colcord is after this guy. This is the little guy. Dennis is his dad. He's the young vice president, the real little guy who falls in love with Rebecca.
From the company that now owns Cheers, that she works for.
That's right.
Hilarious.
That's right.
Remember Sam sold Cheers at one point, and then this big company owns it, and that's where Rebecca comes in. She's just a manager for the company, and then Sam has to come back and work at his own bar for all those years.
I forgot that part.
Oh, it's so cool because it's like we get to see the different side. Like they corporatize Cheers. They put they make it Applebee's,
Yeah.
It's so great. They got the uniforms and the shit on the wall changes. It's really fun. Mainly because it doesn't stay that way.
So that's where I'm at when it comes to Cheers.
That is one of the best shows. It really is. I think it's one of the best sitcoms of all time, if not the. Those guys just really, really did it. There's something about a bar and that time in the 80s and New England. They really just did they picked all the right things.
Definitely. The characters too, like Carla is a perfect character. Woody is a perfect character. And they all have these amazing Frasier. I love Frasier. Frasier is the reason why I got sucked into it again. I wanted to see his first appearance on Cheers because I knew they're doing the reboot right now.
Love Frasier on Cheers. Didn't like Frasier on Frasier.
What's that?
Personally, I love Frasier on Cheers. I think the character is incredible. He added so much. That's why they made him a series regular. I didn't care for Frasier on Frasier, and I have this argument with Sean all the time because he loves Frasier. But to me, they changed too much. Not only did they move him to a different city and give him a different job and all this other stuff, they then changed his character so much. Like, why didn't you just call it Ricky, the radio guy from Seattle? Why does it have to be Frasier? Except it feels cheap that they just traded on that to get the viewership. And if the show was that good, you shouldn't do something that cheap, blah, 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 or don't change it so much. I'm curious to see what happens now that they're coming back to Boston.
Me too. I'm very excited about it. The one thing that I think he did keep with him was his pretentiousness. The thing I did love
Yeah, but
about
that's not like the
Frasier the
good part.
series is that they went highbrow with the writing. I thought that the writing was a lot like, hey, you know what? We're not coming down to your level. Come up to our level. And it worked. That's how I always thought about Frasier. But I'm very, very curious now that you've kind of said that. I want to see what the first couple seasons of Frasier are like after Cheers ends too.
Well,
I'm
now
excited
I'm curious. Well, now I'm curious what you're talking about with the smart writing, because I mean, I always there's smart writing and there's like Harvard-y smart writing, which is just like it's writing to show you went to Harvard. There's a lot of Saturday Night Live sketches for people's first year on the show where like Lauren will let them get their sketch on the air, but it's so that they can see that they're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like there's that scene in it's 60 Studio 60 that the show you and I like, where he's like, you're writing like you're trying to impress her instead of just writing the sketch. Like, why don't you just write the sketch?
Right.
And that's, I mean, when it gets too, I don't know. I certainly didn't feel like anything above on Frasier was over my head, but then how would I know?
It was a little uppity. Even
I agree
for
it was
me.
uppity, and that's what I didn't like about it, but I didn't feel that the writing was actually better. It was just like, oh no, they're snooty.
I felt that way too, and I didn't get that same feeling from him initially.
Agreed. So John Mahoney was the equalizer
The dad.
in that whole, because he was the everyman.
Yep.
He was the Winston from Ghostbusters. He was the guy that we're all supposed to relate to, the one who does put his feet up and not everything's not perfect and $1 million. And he's no longer with us. And it'll be interesting to see if Frasier will have I know I got a lot from my dad when he died, like just things I never thought I'd be or do, just sort of got him now. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to do that with his character and then maybe round it out again so that he is, I mean, he goes back to Boston for some reason, right? Is it Lilith? Is it Frederick? We'll find out. Is it the guys at the
I
bar?
hope he has the recliner.
I thought the same thing, but then that was always, like, all he ever wanted to do was get rid of the recliner. It was always a problem. So if he still has it, I don't know. But we'll have to see it someplace, right?
I'll
Because
tell
that'll be
you-
the nod to the dad.
Totally. That's exactly it. I'll tell you my favorite Frasier joke of all time. I've remembered it since high school. Frasier was talking to somebody about something and he said, oh yeah, I was I was the most popular person in my existential class. I was voted most likely to be.
That's good.
I love that joke.
Yeah. You don't think they would have made that on Cheers? I'm running with scissors. I found all that stuff to be hilarious.
If anyone would have made that joke on there, it would have been Frasier or Sumner Sloan. Like even Diane, I don't think would have made that joke.
You know what's interesting, and I think you're right about this. Frasier was the odd man out as the intellectual in Cheers, so it was really more about a group of everyday people laughing at the smart guy and how silly it is to be the smart guy because it sounds funny when you say smart things sometimes. Versus Frasier, he's now just around
flipped it
his
on his
smart
head.
intellectual brother, and Roz was wicked smart and quick. And so, yeah, I see your point there. But again, then they're changing the character and what the character is about. I don't know. I haven't been through a divorce, so maybe I don't know what changes are necessary in life when you do that. Wasn't that the premise? He divorced Lilith and moved to Seattle?
Yeah. In the first episode, he was on the radio and he was talking about it. And he said something about my wife left me and it was painful. Then she came back to me and it was excruciating. And so that's when they broke up again. And then he came over.
Yeah, Cheers over Frasier. 1,000% for me.
Oh,
although,
yeah.
And then I
Yeah,
go taxi.
definitely.
I would put Taxi if we're going with those guys, Burroughs, and I would go Taxi over Frasier as well. I'd go probably Cheers, Taxi. Taxi was
you
great.
talk about
and the
an
cast was
ensemble.
amazing.
Yeah. You talk totally different characters and so many of them. And yeah, Taxi was fantastic. That's actually one. Now that you say that, it's like, oh, that's one I'd like to go through again.
That may be my complaint with Frasier. You know, the other shows, the other previous one, Taxi and Cheers, both they're like theater. They all take place on this one home-based set that we all know and love, and we know where the phone booth is over here, and Danny DeVito's up in the box over there. We know all these things, and we're established. And then Frasier was like, well, we got the apartment, we got the radio station, there's the coffee shop. Like, we're just sort of following him around. It may as well have been a single-camera show. It didn't have the same tone, even.
It didn't. You're
Yep.
right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally, 100%. Yeah,
I hadn't thought about
they
it.
definitely
right
jumbled
now.
some things for sure.
Do you know who directed the Friends pilot?
I'm guessing Jim Burrows. He did
Yeah.
a lot of Friends.
A lot of Friends.
Yeah.
So I see that influence carry through to that show.
It's also really wicked smart. He does a lot of pilots like that because, like, if you get a pilot and the pilot goes,
It's
the
your-
back end money is yours forever for being the
Yes.
one who being a good enough director to get the show going.
I have read about that too.
Mailbox money on pilots is very cool if the show goes.
It's very cool, but I love that he's done a bunch.
Darren M. Cox from the Irritable Dad podcast says, is that right? Irritable Dad Syndrome podcast?
Irritable Dad Syndrome. Yes.
How do you stay so positive? You're always smiling and laughing. I don't know if that's to me or you, but for me, we answered already. What's the alternative? To just be it doesn't, I don't know. We feel that this is our purpose these days. If we're not this way, all of this happened for no reason whatsoever, and that sucks. I don't even want to think about that.
I have to find the positive, and I've decided my role is probably what it always was, is to make give other people the opportunity to do better.
Yes.
It's hard to swallow sometimes.
It's not your responsibility, but the fact that you want to create opportunities for other people through your difficulties is outstandingly beautiful, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Mitsubishi
I feel like
Eclipse.
this is what the foundation. Oh, sorry.
No. You go ahead. You
I
should be
feel like
talking
this
about
is
more
what
about
the foundation, the silver bullet of this foundation, I think, is going to be. It's something that could be immortalized forever, where it could be a series of guideposts to show people, both who are going through, and like you said earlier, they are the experts. Like, I mean, even when Candy was going through her stuff, we met some doctors who were just the most heinous personalities, who are the quote unquote experts, right? And
they want
I
to
thought
tell
that
you
was
they're
a
the
really
experts.
profound thing. These are wisdom nuggets that you guys are putting down, and I think that's just what the Autoimmunity Foundation, to me anyway, is going to represent, is doing that. I have a question for you too, Nicole. Like the what's frustrating and all that kind of stuff. What are some of the things that bring you small victories or small pieces of relief these days while you're going through this?
Good question. Having a thought stay static in my head for more than a minute. It sounds so dumb, but I'm very, like, you always make the joke squirrel. Like, I'm so easily distractible. Whatever.
You used to live a much bigger life, living in a small thing here. I'm sure everything is trying to get your attention.
It is, and so I've had to figure out what's important, what I want to look at, and I constantly am thinking about falling on my face, and I haven't done that, so that's a win. I really don't want to break my teeth.
I know. Don't do it. You have that in your head because we have a friend who you literally watched it happen, where she fell off a bike and hit her face and broke her teeth out.
I forgot.
But that's not going to happen to you because
Thank
you're being very careful and you're already on the floor.
Yes.
It's not far to fall.
Except when I wash my hands. That's when I think about it the most.
All right. Well, then it is what we didn't think we'd have to deal with any of this stuff. We have to
No.
figure stuff out new every single day.
I really didn't think I'd think about that ever. So, whatever.
Yeah. Whew. We watched a weird movie. I watched it the other day, and it was on sort of in the background just because I thought it was like a light comedy, and it turns out it wasn't at all. It was a really weird, long movie. That was, when I first was, I think it couldn't tell what movie it wanted to be, and then when we watched it again, I put it on again because I said I gotta actually watch this thing with Nicole and see, It's called Downsizing with Matt Damon. Came out like 3 or 4 years ago. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
they get small, like through science and whatever, they make people small so that theoretically the footprint is smaller and whatever. You don't need as much money. You go live in a different colony. Life, it just becomes different. It's Matt Damon and it starts with Matt Damon and Saturday Night Live bridesmaids.
Kristen Wiig?
There it is. Thank you, buddy. And it seems like it's going to be a comedy, and then it just turns into it's not a comedy. It's not a comedy, and then she's gone pretty early on, and it turns out it's a movie kind of about the end of the world and about how to prevent it, and like, oh, this is the only way to do it, and all these other. I don't know. Have you ever seen it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I have a friend who went and saw it, and he came out and he said, "Holy crap, that was not Honey, I Shrunk the Kids." That was his response to me.
Hilarious. There was a part where I referenced that as too, because of course they're small, and there's at one point when they're, the glades of grass are really big and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
wasn't
say it's a
delightful,
bad
that's his
movie.
point.
I mean, I was able to follow it a little better with Nicole the second time through, but it's just they cover so much ground. It's like 3 movies in one. It's like that funny little movie about, oh, should we get small or not? And then what happens there. And then there's this whole other one about like when you're adjusting to a new place and how meeting new friends is different and life is not how it used to be. And then there's this whole other thing about the end of the world and should we follow this dream or should I fall in love with this other amputee girl? Like there's so many factors.
It's a very big story, but I enjoyed it this time more, weeding through everything.
I've grown to become quite the Matt Damon fan too. I know other people have been since Good Will Hunting in the 90s, and I was too. I just I'm enjoying him lately.
I do. I'm finding him making smart choices sometimes.
And then we also, speaking of Matt Damon, he's in the Ocean's 11 movies, but we just watched Out of Sight. Remember Out of Sight, like one of the earlier Soderbergh movies?
Love that one.
Out of Sight, like with Jennifer Lopez
Yes.
And George Clooney.
and Clooney. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love that movie.
And Steve Zahn. Like, in fact, the amount of people, we couldn't believe the amount of people that are now wicked famous
It's a full
that are in that
cast.
movie that weren't famous yet, from Steve Zahn to Catherine Keener to, Ving Rhames was probably already coming around with Pulp Fiction and all that. But
Keaton, of course, was.
yeah, but so many people. And then the funny thing about that, I forgot, that's the movie where his character from Jackie Brown is established as the
Elmore Leonard.
FBI
Yep.
guy Ray Collette or whatever his name is.
Yep.
It's funny to me because it's Soderbergh and Tarantino are not in the same camp at all, but they share that FBI agent Ray. It's kind of funny.
I love that. I love I'm a fan of Jackie Brown. A big fan of that movie.
That's maybe my Pulp Fiction's my favorite, but it's my second
Yeah.
favorite for sure.
I love Jackie Brown.
Same.
And we're in the minority. Most Tarantino fans look at us like we're green when we say that, but I
know.
love that movie.
I don't understand why. Is it because it's not as violent or because not enough happened? I think I love that movie. Like, what a
Me
great
too.
chill movie to put on.
Yep.
I
Everybody in
went
that
to-
movie is incredible.
I went to look for it to try to, to see if we're trying to. Apple TV has this bargain thing where, like, pretty much all the time there are movies for $4.99. It's basically just their bargain bin thing. I never knew that. I thought, like, oh, Apple movies start at $15. They go to $20, $25 for a new release. And I'm like, I'm out, not doing it. Buy the Blu-ray, keep it forever. But they got this bargain bin thing now. So I check it out like once or twice a week and, we'll buy $20, $25 worth of movies. I don't remember why the fuck I just started telling you that, but I've been buying weird shit.
Jackie Brown.
Yeah, Jackie Brown. Went to look for it just to see, because I've noticed too, sometimes I'll look for something and it's $20, but then next week it's in the bin. And I swear to God it's because I looked for it but didn't buy it. And the algorithm's like, would you pay $5.99? How about $4.99?
It's a funnel.
But anyway, all this to say, it's taken off all of the streaming platforms and services everywhere to the point where I even looked it up and everyone's like, yeah, what's up with that? Like just
Is it on
like a
Paramount?
couple weeks ago. Yeah. It was there a couple weeks ago, and I went to look for it again, and it's gone. And then I looked on other platforms, and it's gone from everything, and only that movie.
interesting.
So I'm curious if it's one of the reasons I love it is the soundtrack is so good, and I'm wondering if maybe
Absolutely.
that has a role to play in it.
I didn't know you liked the Delphonics.
Oh my God, I'm Mr. Motown. I'm all about. if it's dated and was once associated as being black music, I'm in.
Yep.
I'm so in. Wait till Otis sees us. He loves us. Yeah. Shamalama ding dong. Ooh, mama. Oh, oh, oh. Blues Brothers, any of that stuff. Motown, blue, I love it.
The Delphonics and Pam
Phonics
Grier.
are good.
That was
All
when,
those scenes
Ter-
where Jackie's talking to Max Cherry just quietly, whether it's at her house or in the coffee shop or at the bar. I love that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
More than any of the other movies, it's just like there's a great groove with Jackie.
Oh yeah.
She's so good, Pam Grier.
Oh, it's so good, and their dynamic is incredible. Like near the end of the movie, you know, I didn't lie to you, Max. I didn't say you did. Like they both had this unspoken thing that was developing through the movie as their characters and the events were happening. There was also this unspoken thing that was there, and it was just brilliant.
And they all let it happen, and so did Tarantino. Yep. Oh, I know. Yep. I'm so with you on that. And there's a lot of great plot twists of things that happen that you're not sure, like once you know the movie.
Oh yeah.
But highly recommend Jackie Brown, everybody. Too bad you can't watch it anymore on streaming. Let's see. All right, back to Darren Cox. My Mitsubishi Eclipse hatchback had those funky auto seat belts. A couple times they almost strangled me. Exactly. That was one of those cars.
God, I'm pretty sure in Canada the only ones that came up here with those seatbelts were the Saturns. I'm almost positive.
Really? Well, that could be.
So, yeah.
It could be. In fact, it could be because you probably didn't have the same government mandate that we did. And then as far as the import ones, you only got the GM stupid Saturn from here. The other ones were imported from wherever, and they didn't care. But ours just came up right over the border on a truck or a train.
You delighted me the other night when you were talking about the Ferrari that he bought. Because in Canada, we are left-hand drive kilometer Speedos. Mm-hmm. Just like, you know, you were talking about that the other night, and I was delighted by that because you were talking about it being...
Well, but yours is different. Wait, you're a left-hand drive kilometer?
Yeah.
Oh, then it is the... No,
it's the same as France, opposite. Right? Like, yeah.
You are right. Yeah, we got this all confused. You're right. But in England, they have right-hand drive, but they're on the mile system. So they still have their right-hand drive, but their speedometer is in miles, not kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Up in Canada, though, I'll tell you one of the laws that we had well before you guys. I'm like early 90s, I want to say, daytime running lights. Every car, every Chevy, everything, the daytime running lights were on.
Do you know the first car company in America to have them mandatory?
Was it Saturn?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
And they weren't dedicated bulbs. They were the high beams at half wattage. So they didn't need another switch. They just simply modified what was in there. Isn't that wild?
The arcane knowledge you have inside your head astounds me sometimes.
Only about Saturn because they sent me to fucking Spring Hill, Tennessee for Saturn training for 2 weeks or a week and a half or whatever it was. Enough that I missed my damn girlfriend, I'll tell you that. Her damn brother sent me down there. He knew what he was doing. My girlfriend's, my high school girlfriend's brother was the manager or owner of that Saturn store.
Speaking of
Saturn and right-hand drive and stuff, while I was there is when we started importing to Japan, and that's when they started making right-hand drive Saturns. They didn't go to England from us, but they did get a deal for them to go to Japan. So we started the United Auto Group and the United Auto Workers of America started making right-hand drive Saturns. And
this is before GM got involved, right?
No, GM was involved from the beginning. GM was always, Saturn was a great marketing campaign from the very beginning. I can't believe we're talking about this. Saturn was not different. They did a few things different on the surface, or at least they told people that they did, like that you couldn't dicker with the price and all that stuff. Of course you could. It was a car dealership. They wanted to move cars. Everything is negotiable. But they're the ones who came up with that. Here's the sticker. Here's the price. This is what it all is. Everything's transparent. Everybody does that now. Everybody follows that same mark. The delivery module, where in the old days it was I say, you say, we say, Nicole, or whatever the heck, ta-da, she bought a new car. That send-off thing, that's something that most car companies do now, and that delivery module is something that Porsche specifically has stolen. So, they influenced a lot of shit, But it was
Yep.
all marketing. From the beginning, it was a GM company. They just didn't want GM's name on it so that everyone thought it was different. The name Saturn has nothing to do with the frickin' planet. Do you know that? Do you know what Saturn comes from, even though their logo
No.
is the planet?
No.
Saturn
Is it the spacecraft?
It's from this rocket. It's from the
Ah,
rocket.
there you go.
They said it couldn't be done. It was one of those things that they said couldn't be done, and sure enough, they did it. And that's why Saturn was like, "That's our motto. We're going to do that, and we want to be the same way." They said you couldn't start a new car company in America. They didn't. It was GM. That's why as it progressed, the Saturns were just badged over Sunfires and whatever the other one they made, Cavaliers.
Yep.
I can't believe it's not around anymore, so it's not like, I mean, I'm sure these secrets are all out, but
What I have.
To this day, the Saturn Sky is one of my wife's favorite cars on the planet. She loves the Saturn Sky.
you had like an SL or an SL1. Yours was automatic, right? It wasn't manual,
Yes.
so it had to be an SL1. The SLs were only manual, but it had the not body colored bumpers, the gray cladding bumpers. It had
Mine
those.
was black.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it could have been SL1. SL2s had the painted bumpers and the dual overhead cam engine. If you're ever near a Saturn, pop the hood and go look at the engine block and tell me what
My
it looks
parents
like.
have a Saturn.
Who does?
My parents, they've had it for 22 years.
What do they have?
The mid-sized station wagon.
The LS
I think so.
or the
I think
SL?
that's what it is, yeah.
Or SW?
No,
There was
I think it's the
SW. SW2. Well, it depends on, I don't know. All of the smaller ones, all of those dual overhead cams and all those little 1.8s or whatever they were all foam poured, which means that they had styrofoam engines made of styrofoam, like a little white, like a cup. And that's what the engine blocks are made of. And then they put that into sand casting. They call it sand casting, I think. They put it into a vat of sand. Well, they put it in a vat and they pour sand on it, whatever the fuck. So that it's basically styrofoam covered in sand. And then they pour liquid hot molten lava steel into the sand. It melts away the... I watched them do this down at training. It melts away all of the foam, and then you're left with a metal engine block where the foam used to be. So that doesn't sound like it's interesting at all. Go look at a Saturn engine block, folks. Everybody, anybody and everybody, pop the hood, go look at it. It's styrofoam. It's metal, but it looks like styrofoam. You see all the little round dots of where there's a little chunk taken out or whatever. Look at every single one. They're all the same.
No idea.
It cracks me up to this day because I'm like, it looks like styrofoam because it was.
The more you
bizarre?
know.
Yeah. You really have a lot of information. I
Way
feel
too
like
much unnecessary information.
people other than you didn't always take back information.
No, I this is all the stuff I brought back instead of like all of the lesson core learning I was supposed to. I also drove the Saturn EV1. Darren E. Cox, she pissed me off in Emily the Criminal. Oh, why? Did they even look at my resume? That was, by the way, look at that. Is that our first official appearance by Don Giller on this show? I think
feel
a
like
first
it might be.
official. Oh, man.
I feel like it might be.
It's an exciting day. I always thought Cliff was smarter than all of them. Hilarious. Is it
So
because
does
he
Cliff.
acted like it? Yeah, you know they didn't know me. Yeah.
There's a joke that Cliff that I just watched recently where Cliff was saying some sort of arcane fact of some sort, and Fraser just looked at him and said, "Hello, Cliff. What color is the sky in your world?"
In your world, yeah.
I was delighted. Yeah, I was delighted by that.
Gunnar Mensch, aloha, kids. I'm warm and dry here in Hawaii. Sorry to not be joining you this year. Well, you have been very busy, Gunnar, and you were just in Florida dealing with Mom, too. So Matt Damon's best thing was the Weezer skit on SNL. I know what you're talking about. It was also in the 90s, way back when, right? It was like Good Will Hunting time.
Was it? Was that the one where they were arguing about which Weezer album was the best? If that's the one I'm thinking of, I love that sketch. If that's the one he's talking about, oh my god, that was so funny.
I think you're right. 94 Saturn bought new when I moved to Hawaii. That would have been, I think, the second to last year of the first generation, the boxy style, before they got round. And it's probably still in Hawaii, I'm guessing. Emily did everything they told her not to do. Oh, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, you can't put Emily in a corner for sure. That's a good point. That's a good point, Darren. I posted.
Oh, by the way, we haven't announced this on the show yet. I have a Bronco that is being assigned a train car as we speak.
Oh, that's exciting. But I was just going to say something about what we were just talking about, and I was going to pull something up here.
Well, then keep going doing that.
No, I can't remember what it was. I'm excited about your
Styrofoam
Bronco.
engines before they got round.
No, don't do that. I don't need. What are you doing? What about your
I'm trying to
grandmother?
prompt you. You said you forgot what you were going to say.
Yeah, I know, but you're
I'm
not going
Producer
to
Mike,
find it.
that's
It
what
was
I
in
do.
my head. You're not going to find it. Oh, here we go. Lots of snow up at Newcomb's. There's about a foot or so there right now. This is let's see if we can do this somehow. There we go. Well, that didn't do shit. There we go. Whoopsie daisy.
Oh, that's picturesque.
I can't.
So are
get it in-
people who don't watch this show going to show up there tomorrow?
I don't think they'll be able to, buddy. I hope not.
Yeah, good.
I hope
Good.
nobody does. I mean, I think so. Oh, that's it. I go. You're never gonna get it. You did it. You put it back in my head. Let me go to Johnny Lieberman, who good job, buddy. I'm like, you'll never do that. He's like, fucking give me a second. I posted today. PSA: please stay off ACH beyond chain requirements in extreme weather conditions. With 3 to 5 feet expected around Newcomb's and 7+ further up, Caltrans needs space to do their work. Thank you. Johnny Lieberman posts. Rivian heading up. Don't tell me what to do.
Oh my God.
I know. I
love
love
that
him
guy.
so much. I love him so much. He's so excited to be back on Fridays. I think he's like, fuck it, I'm going up. He worked so many in a row. There was like 8 Fridays in a row. He wasn't there, right? There was like 2 months. We were like, Johnny Lieberman doesn't come anymore. And then he came back talking about how excited he was to be back and not be working Fridays. Now there's snow. Anyway.
It's been different without him.
Twin cam spoiler, rocket ship. Oh, you had the SC2, I see. Danbury Chive did too. He had a number of those. Congrats, Mike, says Auto Journey. So do we know,
Thank you,
how
buddy.
much
I'm
time
excited
is
by it.
between it's been assigned, a train car. Does that mean like it's a week away? Does that mean it's like a month away? 2 months?
Probably, I would say about a month. It hasn't been assigned the train car yet, but the window sticker means that it's built, and they're just waiting to get it in the queue to get it across the line to Canada. She figures that I'll have it for the end of March, early April.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
I'm already planning
that's close
the wrap
enough. That's
for the pinstripes. Oh yeah,
I feel like
I'm
for
excited.
you, any sooner than that is not enough time for you to get proper enjoyment out of it because you like to really
Exactly.
make videos and like
anticipation is
start
everything.
crying when it shows up and all that stuff.
Yep. Well, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to
Candy
get
will
all
get
the
the video, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's going right from the dealership. Like we're gonna do the paperwork a week in advance. I'm gonna have the insurance and stuff done before it shows up, and it's gonna go. I think I'm not even going to be there when it shows up at the dealership. They're just gonna take it right to the place that's gonna wrap the big 70s pinstripes down the side of it, and do the front grille white because we're gonna retro it, right? I think
Awesome.
I want to see it done that way. I don't even think I want to see the process. So yeah, I've already planned out a
Wow.
significant portion of
Oh,
this.
that's so
It's
cool.
going to be a great experience.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. I can't wait to see it with the. I call them Tonka stripes. I don't know what they're actually called, but the
Tonka
stripes,
stripes,
you-
that's
the
exactly
rainbow
right.
stripes you're talking about. That everyone's. It's very hot right now. Like this car is going to get a lot of looks when you're done.
And I'm putting International Scout decals on the side of it, and I'm trying to
Decals.
get the Scout personalized plate as well.
Very cool. Decals.
Yeah, I'm
Decals.
excited.
We
My
have
dad's
decals.
going to cry. That's the part I can't wait for.
Your dad's going to cry because it'll look like.
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
had that Scout for 25 years. I mean, it was what I learned to drive on. It's nearly the same color. It's just, yeah, it's going to
Did we
be
all freeze?
super cool.
Oh,
Very
we're good.
nostalgic.
Darren Cox says the Weezer's kit was when they covered Africa, and that's what I was thinking too. They bless the rains down.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh no, that's not. That's Jimmy Fallon. I'm thinking of. They bless the rains down in Africa. Does he mean the band Africa or the song Africa by
The song Africa
Rosanna? It's not Rosanna. Toto.
Toto.
by Toto, yeah.
Let me see if you're. Oh, there you are. You're a little better there. sometimes I don't know. I never know if it's
Was
the
I-
bandwidth or if it's our shit, or I never know anything. I guess it's a good place to be. Whoopsie-daisy. All right. Well, this has been a weird one. Talk about the show we didn't mean to do. This is not the comedy we intended to do when the week began. What do we do now? Do we just
Do you have
wrap it up,
sponsors
close
you
up the
wanna
old
plug?
CBS mailbag, and say goodnight? I have a TBT still to play, which we're going to do. Is there anything else to talk about, though? Sean Cridlin is not here, but he's
Do you have
alive and
sponsors
well.
you need to plug?
He will be here soon. Well, no, not really, because it's the Autoimmunity. Well, yeah, the Autoimmunity Foundation. We need your help. I mean, I'll just straight up say that we need your help. We need funding. we need volunteers. We need board members. We need a lot of things. And we're behind. We're behind because we never stopped doing what we're doing to you know what I mean. There's really only 1.5 people to do all the things, and we're trying to do as much as we can as fast as we can. But I'm also building a studio for Spike Ferriston. I also may be building a studio for Haggerty. There's all sorts of other things in the background, as well as the things that we've been working for 5 years here on this show that will soon be hopefully helped with the Autoimmunity Foundation, are all finally happening. Like, this was all pipe dream stuff years and years ago, but like it's all really happening now. So we need your help. It's that simple. If there is any way you can make a financial contribution to the Autoimmunity Foundation, we would greatly appreciate it. You can do that various ways. Just autoimmunityfoundation.org is the way to hit all of them. You can read about what's up with the foundation and who we are and what we do. But that's actually really important. I need to make a post about it, and I'm sorry that we're doing it so late in the show. It's really important. We should probably do a whole show dedicated to it. We wanted to do a telethon over the holidays. We didn't get to do that. It's still in the works. It's just the idea got bigger than our usual thing. The idea gets bigger than what we're able to handle right away, so we need to delay it. But you're right. Things are coming up. February is almost over. On April 1st, at the Marconi Museum, our friend Adam Ferrara is doing an evening of cars and comedy. You can check out the ticket situation on Eventbrite. .com/Marconi. I know that there are tickets still available. We will be there to support. I also think I may be doing something to help me at least introduce or something. But we'll be there, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Motoring Club, 5th anniversary party, and Autoimmunity Foundation fundraiser and TV taping on April 15th at the Motoring Club. Your only official source for, excuse me, let me do this right. Here we go. Your only source for officially licensed Late Show with David Letterman merchandise is the Hello Deli in New York, located at 53rd and Broadway. Say hello to Rupert. Get yourself online. Buy a hat. Get a postcard, a little mug, some pencils there. And most importantly, while you're there online, tell Rupert that Nicole says hello, because
I cannot.
you're doing a damn good job. We love Irene and Rupert, by the way. I haven't seen Irene here tonight, but she was here the other day. Toto. Yeah, it is Toto. Thanks. Dual Shift GVBC merchandise available, and lifestyle gear available at Dual Shift. David will be down at Auto Kennel tomorrow with us, where GVBC will be doing an annex since the mountains snowed out. So, Mike, you asked if they will be showing up there tomorrow. I certainly hope not. And if you look at that picture of what it's like now, I don't think anybody in their right mind should be going up there tomorrow, especially if Caltrans has asked for their space. So, I mean, we're not telling anybody what to do. We're not those types of people, but we won't be there. Even though I really, really want to be, because nothing makes me happier than driving up there every week, and then nothing makes me happier than driving up in inclement weather. I love driving that car in the snow, yellow car. It's so good.
I love driving with you in inclement weather. Not everyone can do it. You know how to do it.
Do you ever feel any kind of unsafe or uneasy or like, whoa, like any of that stuff when I'm going?
I feel that way in my body all the time, so anything I feel make about my body so I can make it go away.
That's hilarious. That's why you're such a good passenger. You've got all sorts of ailments that you're constantly fighting, and you're like, blame it on that.
you get to the point where it's easier to go, this is the least of my problems.
Turn it off up here.
Yeah, I can't move when we're moving. Like, what am I going to do if anything, we go the wrong way?
Yeah, how can you contribute to
I
getting...
can't.
Yeah.
And while I used to try to control everything, that's futile now too. So it's like, just stop
Oh,
me.
you're the best. You really are. I don't know how you do it all. Did I finish this stuff? Dual shift. Okay. Byron Bauer, Spiritual N-Word on Hulu. And he's performing all around LA, especially at the Comedy Store. Check him out, byronbauer.com. I think we did do all the stuff. We know you have many options for your viewing entertainment. Thank you for choosing Cars and Comedy. Late Night Playset is brought to you by the Autoimmunity Foundation. The AIF is supported by viewers like you. If you would like to make a financial contribution or find out more about the Autoimmunity Foundation, go to autoimmunityfoundation.org. Autoimmunityfoundation.org. Autoimmunityfoundation.org.
Autoimmunityfoundation.org.
Well done. Well done.
Oh, that was hard.
All right. Before we leave, let's do a quick TBT. It's not quick, but it's really nice. And we'll be back to say goodbye after this. Roll it, Hal. I've got that already. Hey-oh.
So our award for the driver, best driver, goes to Mr. I'll see you tomorrow.
I know these people. Oh, hi, Def Sushi. There's all sorts of people.
love
Look at this. Hi, everybody. We were just trying to find your car.
Can't miss it.
Pop quiz, hot shot. are going to period correct. See you there. Where are we going?
Period correct.
See you there. Who are we?
Period correct.
Period correct.
Party happened.
Fire started over here, and it burned down the whole building. And you guys really stepped up as a community. People donated tools, they donated materials, they donated money.
Right here. Whole Holland Highway is closed. So, cross that off. Head in my trunk.
See you later.
We did a lot that day.
That was a whole week. That was like Thursday through Sunday, I think, but it was an awful lot. I mean, daytime, nighttime, both mornings,
It all
evenings.
came back of how much we did.
Do you remember the
constant.
momentum and all that? I mean, it was like, whew, just crazy, crazy.
It was one of those things where just tell me what's next.
Like your old job.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a junket.
I fell right into my old way of being.
Ryan S., I love you guys. Want to hug you both. Oh, thanks, man. Really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. We don't always show it, but we really, really appreciate that a lot. What'd you think of that video, buddy?
I loved it very, very much. I have a question. There was a red, what looked like it looked like a race car. It was completely kind of enclosed with like gull wing-ish doors. What kind of a Porsche is that?
A 962, but it's
Okay.
basically it's Koenig. I can't remember. It's a very special car. It's actually basically a Porsche race car that's been homologated for the street. Like they did a reverse
It's
homologation.
so beautiful.
Our friend Gen. Shoot, I think he still owns it. He may have sold it to someone else. I'm not sure, but he that was before they were driving. That was before you would see cars like that up on Angeles Crest. That was one of the first ones. They're like, holy shit, he's going to drive it up there? Like, whoa, that's crazy. Then cut to 5 years later, 3 years later, we've got Johnny Lieberman bringing up $4 million Paganis, driving them up the hill. People drive their 959s. Now it's like a thing to drive your car up the hill. But it wasn't happening back then. And it was very, very cool for Gen to do that. And I guess there was Radwood was that same time, I think. I think that's why, because we saw Matt Farah driving it from the PEC like earlier, and Gen was like, I'll bring it up the hill. We're like, okay, yeah, right. And sure enough, he was there. Super cool, though.
That's a beautiful car.
And speaking of right-hand drive,
Yeah.
And it's got the bubble and the whole, like, you got to climb over so much just to get in. It's boss. It's crazy.
And what was the time machine that you saw in that clip? Did it just happen to be driving down the highway, or was that part of the event as well? Really? Oh, that's amazing.
That's how it is.
I love that there are no coincidences.
Magnet.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. All right, so here's what's going on this weekend. Tomorrow, GVBC will not be taking place up on the mountain, but it will still be taking place. We are doing our Plan C. Plan C is the OC down at Auto Kennel in Orange County, Costa Mesa. It sounds like 9 o'clock on is the ticket, but I think officially it's 10. I think if you're a GVBCer, you're allowed in a little bit earlier. Premier parking for GVBC people. I don't know what it's going to be like. I would imagine it's going to be a stormy, crazy mother of a day. But we do something, and we're not going to the mountains, so we're going to be there. As the weekend progresses, the actual lit show is at the LAX Hilton on Saturday. I don't think we'll be making it to that, even though I sure would love to go see everybody. It's just too much, I think, for us to also be able to do the afternoon, which is, and I'm going to kill this name, it's awful. It's not actually called this, but I'm calling it Die Bacardi, whatever the Garage and Social event put on by Patrick Long and Rob, God damn it, Rod Emery, Porsche superstar Rod Emery and race car driver Patrick Long are putting on a thing called Die Bacardi. I can't pronounce it. It's like Luftgekühlt. It's like a word you got to learn how to pronounce. That's like 2 p.m. on over at the Van Nuys location. So it's near us, and we'll probably be there. Sunday, Cafe de la Plage in Malibu. Somehow the weather always seems to work out for us there. So I would imagine that's where we'll be. I have a feeling we'll have a window in the weather. I think Sunday morning in Malibu, I have just a weird prediction will be beautiful.
I like that.
Who knows? Who knows if it'll be true? We've sat in the rain before. There's an umbrella.
We have, and they're good people there.
Yeah, good people, good vibes. So that's what's going on. All right, GVBC Friday in the OC, and then GVBC Sunday in Malibu. It's not actually a GVBC, but everything's being branded now. See, I noticed this before as I was folding it. I need to get a new GVBC shirt. Look how black it was, and I like the black. But over time, it has this nice fade. It's just like this one you could wear out with a blazer and something and like this one's okay. This is just an old T-shirt. And you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? It's so comfortable. I love it. Stop talking now. You bet. I think we've done enough, don't you? Please support the Autoimmunity Foundation. If I didn't say it enough, please go to autoimmunityfoundation.org and make a donation. We greatly appreciate it. It supports this show. It supports Good Vibes. It also supports the endeavors for refiguring out how multiple sclerosis is talked about. We're making that our responsibility. We want to change the conversation. And that's what the Autoimmunity Foundation is going to do. So thanks to Pavel from Carbone Liveries, who was not here this evening. Thank you very much to Sean Cridlin from the Hurley book and the Brumos book, and he's a contributor for the thing for the foundation as well. Sorry you couldn't be here. And then also with that, Jay Ward, who was the artist from Pixar, who's going to be here as well tonight with Sean Cridlin, artist of the book cover and all that. Thank you also for not being here. Sorry. Hell of a night. Hell of a night. It's a hell of a week. A lot of stuff down here. I thought the guys from Carbone would be here. I brought my Porsche towels. I brought my Porsche apron. These are things I've purchased from them in the past. If you're working on an old classic car, you got to have an apron. You know what I'm talking about. You put your tools and your screwdrivers and all your stuff. It's great. It's great. If you're working on a car and you don't have an apron, you got another thing coming. You're not doing it right. Oh, look at that. It's got my name on it. I wonder who did that. Did you do that? It's not even my writing.
I did not.
Me neither. That's hilarious. Anyway, shout out to Carbone. We love everybody. Lit Week. It's Lit Week. Have a great time while you're out there. We love you. Love you. Love you, Mike.
Love you. Love you guys so much.
See you later. Have a great weekend. Bring me back something French.